Captain Elias stared at the blinking console in his ship, feeling the familiar mix of excitement and nervousness. They had just entered a completely unknown star system. The planet ahead shone with strange rings that sparkled in colors he had no names for. Every training manual in his life had prepared him for exploration, for danger, for the unknown, but nothing had prepared him for the feeling rising in his chest. It was more than curiosity. It was something alive, something calling him forward. The landing was rough, the ship shaking as the engines roared. Elias gritted his teeth, holding onto the railing as the metallic floor beneath him vibrated. Outside, the air shimmered as if it were made of light. Trees, or at least something like trees, bent gently as if swaying in invisible wind. Flowers glowed faintly, and a soft hum seemed to come from the ground itself. Elias had traveled across the galaxy, seen planets with frozen oceans, deserts, cities floating above clouds, but this was different. It felt alive, almost sentient. He stepped out carefully, boots crunching over soft, luminous soil. Each step made a small ripple of light spread beneath his feet. His eyes darted across the alien landscape, trying to take it all in. Then he saw her dot at first. Elias thought it was a trick of the lighter reflection from the glowing flora, but she moved. She was tall, elegant, with skin that shimmered faintly, changing color like the forest itself. Her eyes were silver, like quicksilver in the sun, and they seemed to pierce into him. He froze, breath caught in his throat. Every instinct in his body screamed to be careful. But something else, something stronger, pulled him forward. "I am Liara," she said, her voice a melody and a command all at once. "You are far from home, human." Her presence was overwhelming, but it was not threatening. There was a calm confidence in the way she stood, yet her gaze carried the weight of centuries, perhaps millennia. Elias's hand twitched toward his sidearm, but he stopped himself. Something about her made him trust her instantly, even though every protocol in his mind warned him not to. I'm Captain Elias," he stammered. "I come in peace. I am here to explore, to survey, to learn." Liara tilted her head, and her silver eyes seemed to sparkle with amusement. "Peace is spoken easily by those who have never known true danger," she said softly. "Do you know what it means to face the unknown without fear?" Elias swallowed hard. In his life, he had faced storms, rogue planets, alien predators, and political wars, but never anything like her. She was not just a being. She was a force, a presence that demanded attention and respect. His pulse raced, and he realized he could feel his own heart beating in his throat. I try," he said finally, keeping his voice steady despite the trembling in his chest. "I try to face the unknown. I try to understand, to respect." Liara's lips curved into a faint, mysterious smile. "Then perhaps you are ready to see more than your species believes is possible." A strange breeze whispered through the glowing trees, carrying scents of flowers that seemed unreal. Elias could not stop staring at her, at the way her form seemed to flow like water, yet remain grounded, commanding the very space around her. His mind raced, trying to make sense of this world, this creature, and the feelings it stirred in him. He felt awe, respect, and a strange, impossible connection all at once. Liara stepped closer, and the hum in the air seemed to rise in intensity. "Walk with me, human. There is much to show you, and little time for hesitation." Elias hesitated only a moment before nodding. He knew that whatever came next, it would change him forever. The ground beneath him pulsed faintly, as if acknowledging his decision. As they moved deeper into the glowing forest, Elias felt a thrill he had never known, the excitement of discovery, yes, but also the stirring of something deeper, a bond forming across worlds, across understanding, across the very essence of life itself. For the first time in his life, he felt both small and infinitely significant, standing on an alien world, following a being who seemed more alive than anything he had ever imagined. The adventure had begun, and he was ready. Even if he didn't yet understand what it would demand of him. Elias followed Liara deeper into the glowing forest, each step revealing wonders he could hardly believe. Trees arched like crystal bridges, their branches shimmering in soft hues, and strange flowers opened and closed rhythmically, as if breathing. The air smelled sweet, but also sharp, alive with energy. Elias felt his own heartbeat match the pulse of the land around him. Liara walked with ease, her movements fluid yet deliberate. Every step seemed in perfect harmony with the glowing flora. Elias tried to match her pace, but he felt clumsy, too human in this vibrant, alien world. He wanted to speak, to tell her what he was feeling, but the words seemed too small, too simple. Yet he could not stop the awe that welled inside him. Finally, she stopped at a small clearing. The light from the plants formed a soft halo around her, and she turned to face him fully. Elias noticed for the first time the fine details of her form, her skin shifting subtly, with the color of the forest, her eyes reflecting the strange light like mirrors of liquid silver. Her presence was mesmerizing, commanding, and yet inviting. "Do not be a coward," Liara said, her voice cutting through the hum of the forest. "Tell me your thoughts, human. Speak truthfully, without fear." Elias swallowed hard. His mind raced. How could he express what he was feeling? How could he speak honestly without sounding foolish in front of a being who seemed beyond anything he had ever known? But he knew that hesitation would only show weakness. You are unlike anything I've ever seen," he began, his voice steadying as he forced the words out. "You are magnificent, not only in appearance but in the way you exist. You are alive in a way I cannot fully understand, and it draws me. It draws me in." Liara tilted her head, silver eyes shimmering with curiosity. "Magnificent," she repeated, her tone playful but challenging. "You think that is enough to describe me?" Elias shook his head quickly. "No, it is not enough. Nothing I say could ever capture what you are. I admire you. I respect you. You make me feel things I cannot name. You make me want to understand, to see, to be better." For a moment, Liara said nothing. She regarded him with an intensity that made his pulse race. The wine door, whatever it was, stirred around them, carrying soft, glowing petals that brushed past his face. Elias felt exposed, but not vulnerable. There was no threat in her gaze, only challenge. "You humans speak boldly, yet often without depth," Liara said at last. "Words are easy. Action is not. Do you possess the courage to follow your thoughts, to act on them when the world resists?" Elias felt a surge of determination. He had faced countless dangers, fought alien predators, survived deadly storms, and negotiated peace in impossible situations, but this was different. This was not about survival. This was about honesty, about heart. I will try," he said. "I will face what comes, not out of fear, but because it is true, because it matters." Liara's expression softened slightly, and she stepped closer. Her presence was overwhelming, yet Elias did not feel afraid. He felt challenged, inspired, and strangely connected. "Then perhaps you are ready," she said quietly. "Ready to see what most of your kind cannot even imagine." A soft rustle echoed through the trees, and Elias realized the forest itself seemed to respond to her words. Light rippled across the ground, and the plant swayed as if breathing. He realized that her power was not just in herself, but in the harmony she had with this world. To be near her was to be part of something greater than anything he had ever known. Elias's chest swelled with a mix of admiration and awe. For the first time in his life, he felt the weight of wonder pressing against him, not just at the alien world, but at the being guiding him through it. He understood, in that instant, that courage was more than facing danger, it was seeing truth, accepting it, and daring to speak it. Liara extended her hand, a gesture both commanding and gentle. "Come," she said. "The world waits, and there are lessons only those who dare to speak the truth may learn." Elias took her hand, and as their fingers met, a strange warmth spread through him. He was no longer just a human in an alien forest, he was part of something larger. A connection that went beyond understanding. A bond that would shape the path ahead. The challenge had been set, and Elias knew he could not turn back. He had spoken his truth, and now he would discover what it truly meant to live with courage, wonder, and heart. Elias walked beside Liara through the forest, feeling both nervous and fascinated. The air was alive with soft hums and glowing pollen drifting around them. Each step revealed wonders, trees that bent as if bowing, vines that shimmered like glass, and flowers that opened only when they sensed movement. Elias had seen many worlds, but none of them had felt this alive. It was as if the planet itself was breathing. Liara moved gracefully, her steps in harmony with the energy around her. She seemed part of the world, yet separate, commanding attention without effort. Elias could not stop staring. There was a light in her eyes, silver and deep, that made him feel seen in a way he had never experienced. His chest tightened, a mix of awe and nervous excitement he struggled to understand. "Humans often fear what they cannot control," Liara said softly, breaking the silence. "They see danger in what they do not understand. But you are different." Elias hesitated. "Different how?" he asked, curiosity and self-doubt clashing in his voice. "You speak honestly, even when the consequences are unknown," Liara replied. "You admit admiration without shame. You recognize beauty without fear. That is rare." Her words struck him more deeply than he expected. He had been trained to analyze, to report, to survive, but he had rarely allowed himself to feel freely, to admit the awe or wonder inside him. With Liara, he could not hide. There was no hiding from someone like her. They stopped at a clearing where a stream of liquid light flowed over smooth stones. Elias knelt to touch it, surprised by the warmth that spread through his fingers. Liara watched silently, her expression unreadable yet gentle. this world responds to life, she said. Not just to your presence, but to your understanding, your intentions. See it, feel it, respect it. Only then will it reveal its secrets. Elias looked back at her. You are extraordinary. I cannot fully understand you. Your presence, your being, it's unlike anything I've seen in all my travels. Liara's lips curved into a faint smile. And yet, you try. That is what matters, human. Effort, honesty, courage to see beyond yourself, those are the true measures of greatness. For a moment, Elias felt something he had not felt in years, a connection, pure and unspoken. It was not just admiration. It was recognition, a meeting of minds across species. His heart raced, yet he felt calm, as if the forest and Liara were guiding him to understand something essential. Teach me, he said quietly, almost a whisper. Teach me to see the world as you do. I want to understand, not just survive. I want to belong, even a little. Liara's silver eyes softened, and she extended her hand toward the stream. Then you must open your mind, human. Feel the life around you, the currents beneath your feet, the energy flowing through every leaf, every stone. It is all connected. Do you have the patience to truly notice? Elias nodded, leaning closer to the stream. He felt the light flow into his skin, warm and tingling. He felt the pulse of life beneath the soil, the quiet strength in the trees, the subtle whisper of the wind. It was overwhelming, but beautiful. And he realized that Liara was not merely guiding him. She was inviting him to see the universe with a clarity and respect humans rarely achieved. The universe is not just to conquer, Liara continued. It is to understand, to respect, to feel. Most of your kind never learns this. But you have already taken the first step. Elias looked up at her, awe in his eyes. Then I will take every step I can. I will learn. I will see. Liara smiled faintly, a gesture that lit the forest around them even brighter. Good, she said. For understanding is the beginning of courage. And true courage, human, is far rarer than you know. Elias felt a surge of determination. He had faced danger before, but this was different. This was not about surviving storms or hostile planets. This was about growing, about understanding a world far beyond his own, and about trusting the presence of someone who could teach him to see more than he ever thought possible. In that moment, walking beside Liara in the glowing forest, Elias realized that awe, respect, and courage were not just qualities of humans, they were possibilities waiting to be awakened. And he was ready. Elias and Liara walked deeper into the forest, the glowing plants casting soft, shifting shadows around them. The air was alive with energy, and Elias felt a thrill he could not describe. Every sound, every shimmer of light, seemed to speak to him, as if the planet itself were alive and aware of their presence. For a moment, he felt completely at peace, as though nothing could harm him here. But then the ground shook. A low, vibrating hum filled the air, growing louder and more intense. Elias stumbled, catching himself on a glowing tree. The hum turned into a roar, and his chest tightened with fear. Something was coming. Something enormous. Through the dense trees, a creature appeared. It was massive, taller than any building he had seen, with limbs of crystal and metal intertwined. Its eyes glowed with a fierce, alien light, and it let out a sound that made the air itself tremble. Elias's training kicked in immediately. He reached for his sidearm, ready to defend himself. Liara stepped in front of him, raising her hand in a calm, deliberate gesture. Her eyes glimmered silver, reflecting the strange light around them. Do not fight it, human, she said, her voice firm. You cannot conquer what you do not understand. Elias froze. But if it attacks, it will not attack those who are honest, who act with respect. Liara interrupted. Trust me. The creature approached, its massive form moving with unexpected grace. Elias's heart pounded, and his hands shook. Every instinct screamed to shoot, to run, to survive. But as he looked at Liara, calm and unwavering, he felt something shift within him. This was not a test of strength. It was a test of understanding, of courage without violence. He lowered his weapon, taking a deep breath. The creature stopped just short of the clearing, its glowing eyes fixed on Liara. She raised her hand higher, and Elias noticed the way the light around her seemed to pulse, almost speaking to the massive being. Slowly, the creature's posture softened. Its limbs relaxed, and it let out a sound that Elias realized was not anger, it was communication. You see, Liara said softly, courage is not in fighting. It is in standing firm and showing respect and recognizing life for what it truly is. This is the strength humans often forget. Elias watched in awe as the massive creature bowed slightly, then turned and vanished into the forest, leaving a faint trail of glowing dust in its wake. His chest heaved with relief, but it was mingled with something deeper. wonder, admiration, and a strange pride he had never felt before. "Human," Liara said, her silver eyes meeting his. "Do you understand now? True courage is not measured by weapons or victories. It is measured by understanding, by honesty, by the willingness to see beyond fear." Elias nodded, the weight of realization pressing down on him. He had faced death before, faced enemies and storms, but this was different. This was a lesson in heart and soul and connection. He realized he had grown, even in the moments of fear. I understand," he said quietly. "It's not about surviving. It's about seeing and respecting and acting with truth." Liara's expression softened into a faint, proud smile. "Yes, that is the beginning. Most humans never learn this. But you are willing to open your mind and your heart. That is rare." The forest seemed to sigh with relief, the glowing plant swaying gently as if acknowledging his understanding. Elias felt a warmth spread through him, a sense that he had passed some invisible threshold. He had not only faced fear, he had embraced it, let it teach him, and found strength in what he had learned. For the first time, Elias felt that he was not merely exploring this alien world, he was part of it. If only for a moment, he had taken the first step into a deeper understanding of life, courage, and connection. And beside him, Liara moved like a guide, a teacher, a force that would continue to show him wonders he could scarcely imagine. As the light shifted around them, Elias realized one thing clearly. The real test was not over. It had only begun. But now, he was ready. After the encounter with the massive creature, Elias and Liara continued through the forest in silence. The tension from the earlier moment had faded, replaced by a quiet understanding. Elias felt his chest still thrum with the memory of fear and awe, but now it was accompanied by a strange calm. For the first time, he realized that courage was more than action, it was presence, attention, and openness. The path led them to a wide clearing where a waterfall of liquid light cascaded into a luminous pool. The air smelled sweet, almost like honey and rain combined, and Elias could see tiny particles of light dancing above the water. Liara walked to the edge of the pool and knelt gracefully. She extended her hand toward the shimmering surface, and Elias noticed the way the water responded, forming intricate patterns that glowed brighter with her touch. "Life is all around you," she said softly. "Not only in the trees, the soil, or the animals you can see, but in every pulse of energy, every subtle shift. Humans rarely notice it. Most are too busy surviving to truly live." Elias knelt beside her, dipping his fingers into the glowing water. The warmth spread through him, gentle yet invigorating, and he felt a deep sense of connection to the world he had never known. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "I've seen wonders before, but never anything like this. It feels alive, like it's aware of us." Liara nodded, her silver eyes reflecting the light of the pool. "It is aware, and it responds not to dominance but to respect, to curiosity, to courage that is honest and humble. You have begun to see this, human, and that is rare among your kind." Elias felt his chest swell with pride and humility at the same time. He had traveled across galaxies, faced danger, and studied countless worlds. Yet none had touched him like this. None had made him feel both small and significant at the same time. And none had made him feel the deep pull of admiration not only for the world around him, but for the being who guided him through it. "I've never met anyone like you," he said quietly, almost afraid the words might break the moment. You see the world differently. You understand things I never imagined. I want to learn." Liara turned to him, her gaze penetrating yet soft. "And you will, human. But understanding is not just learning. It is patience, attention, and willingness to feel without judgment. It is accepting that some truths are greater than your mind can hold. Can you do that?" Elias nodded, feeling a determination he had never felt before. "I will try. I want to." A faint breeze passed through the clearing, carrying tiny glowing petals that brushed against their faces. Elias reached out instinctively, letting the light settle on his hand. He felt warmth, connection, and a subtle thrill of trust. For the first time in his life, he felt that his presence mattered, not because of what he could do, but because of who he was willing to be. Liara smiled faintly, a gesture that seemed to make the pool glow even brighter. "You are learning quickly, human. It is not only your mind that is capable of understanding, it is your heart. That is why you are different, rare, courageous in ways even you do not yet recognize." Elias looked at her, the silver light of her eyes reflecting in his own. "I never imagined I could feel so much, so connected to someone or to a place that isn't my home. But now I do. And I don't want to forget it." Liara's voice softened, almost a whisper carried on the wind. "Then remember, human, not for yourself alone, but for all those who will come after. Courage and understanding are contagious. They spread. You have the power to share what you see and feel, if you choose to. Elias felt the weight of her words, but not as a burden. It was a responsibility, yes, but also a gift. He reached out, and this time his hand brushed against hers. The warmth was immediate, almost alive. He felt the bond between them, not possession, not dominance, but connection, understanding, and mutual respect. For the first time in his life, Elias felt that exploration was not just about the stars or the worlds he visited. It was about people, about beings, about the courage to see and understand what others overlook. And beside him, Liara was proof that there were wonders in the universe that no map, no scanner, and no training could ever fully reveal. They sat there for a long while, hands almost touching, hearts open, and the alien world around them humming quietly in approval. Elias realized that he was no longer merely a visitor. He was part of something larger, a journey of understanding, courage, and connection that had only just begun. The forest around Elias and Liara grew quieter as evening approached. Yet the light never dimmed completely. The trees and plants glowed softly, creating a gentle radiance that made everything feel like a dream. Elias had walked many miles beside Liara, and with every step, he felt the weight of awe and understanding pressing deeper into his heart. He had faced fear, he had learned courage, and now he sensed something else, something powerful, unspoken, and personal. They reached a plateau overlooking a valley where streams of glowing water intertwined like ribbons, and small creatures of light darted between flowers and rocks. Liara stood at the edge, silent, as if waiting for Elias to see the beauty with more than his eyes. He inhaled deeply, feeling the energy of the place flow into him, and realized it was more than beauty, it was knowledge, life, and connection in one. Human, Liara said softly, turning to him, her silver eyes reflecting the light of the valley. Do you understand now? The world does not only exist to be explored, or to be measured. It exists to be felt, to be understood, and to be respected. Only those who dare to open themselves fully can see it truly. Elias swallowed, trying to find the right words. I think I do. I've felt things I've never imagined, fear, yes, but also wonder, connection, even hope. I didn't know that was possible in a place I didn't belong. Liara's gaze softened, and for the first time, she stepped closer to him. Humans are fragile, yet fragile beings often carry the strongest courage. You have seen the unknown, yet you did not shrink. You have faced it with honesty. That is what makes you remarkable. Elias felt a warmth spread through his chest. He had never heard anyone speak of him like this. Not a superior, not a friend, not a fellow human. He realized that her admiration was not empty praise. It was truth, clear and profound. I thank you, he said, voice low. I never thought I could feel this way about someone, about a place. Liara extended her hand again, and Elias stepped closer, letting their fingers almost touch. Then you feel the same as I do, she said. The bond is not only in admiration, but in understanding. We see each other for what we truly are, not human or alien, not master or servant, but beings capable of courage and of respect and of connection. Elias's heart raced, and he realized he had never felt more alive. I've faced many worlds, he whispered, but I've never met anyone like you. You've changed how I see everything. Not just this world, but my home, my people, myself. Liara tilted her head, a faint smile touching her lips. And you have changed how I see it, human. Your presence here, your courage, your honesty, your openness reminds me that life is worth more than strength or beauty alone. It is worth understanding, worth connection, worth bravery without fear. The moment stretched between them, filled with quiet energy. The forest seemed to hum softly, the streams glowing brighter, the tiny creatures of light dancing closer, as if celebrating the recognition between two beings who had crossed the boundaries of worlds and species. Elias looked at Liara, and something unspoken passed between them. He understood that he was no longer merely a visitor. He was part of this world now, in a way that could not be undone. And in her presence, he had found a truth he had never imagined, that courage, honesty, and connection were not only human traits, they were universal. I don't want to leave, he said quietly, almost to himself. Not yet. I feel like I belong here, with you, with this world. Liara stepped closer, placing her hand gently near his. Then stay as long as you need to understand, human. But remember this, true courage will always call you to return to your own world, to carry the lessons, to share them. You cannot remain forever, but you can carry what you have learned here, and change the lives of many with it. Elias nodded, feeling a weight and a gift at the same time. For the first time, he realized that connection and courage were intertwined. That understanding another being, another world, could illuminate not just their universe but his own, and standing there, under the glowing light of an alien world, he understood the truth Liara had tried to teach him all along, that admiration and respect were powerful forces, stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, and more enduring than the stars themselves. The glow of the forest had softened into a calm twilight, but the world around Elias still seemed alive with subtle light. Every leaf, every stream, every creature shimmered softly, as if the planet itself was breathing. Elias stood at the edge of the clearing, taking a deep breath. In the days he had spent with Liara, he had seen wonders beyond imagination, faced fears he never thought he could, and learned lessons about courage, understanding, and connection that no human academy could teach. Liara appeared beside him, her presence both radiant and gentle. For the first time, Elias realized how much he had come to depend on her guidance, not for survival, but for understanding, for seeing the world as it truly was. He looked at her silver eyes and felt a warmth he had never known, a bond that went beyond words. "The time will come for you to return, human," Liara said softly. Her voice carried authority, but also something tender, almost like sorrow. "Your world waits. Your people need what you have learned here." Elias's chest tightened. "I don't want to leave," he admitted, his voice low. "I feel alive here. I feel like I've finally understood what it means to be more than myself. I want to stay with you, in this world, in this place of wonder." Liara placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "You cannot remain forever, Elias, but that is not the end. What you take with you, the courage, the understanding, the respect for life, will remain. It will spread. You will touch the lives of many. That is more powerful than staying in one place, no matter how beautiful." Elias nodded slowly, feeling both sadness and a strange sense of purpose. He had learned that true courage was not clinging to what one loved, but carrying it forward, letting it grow in ways one could not always see. I will do my best," he said, his voice firm yet tinged with emotion. Liara smiled faintly, a silver glimmer in her eyes. "I know you will, human. That is why I trust you. And one day, perhaps, you will return. Not because you have to, but because the connection between worlds and hearts is never truly broken." They walked together to the edge of the plateau, overlooking the valley of glowing rivers and streams. Elias took in the view one last time, memorizing every curve of the landscape, every flicker of light, every breath of wind that seemed alive. He had discovered a world that challenged him, inspired him, and made him feel more human than he ever had before. Liara's hand brushed against his as they paused, and Elias felt the warmth travel through him once more. "You have changed me too," she said quietly. "Your presence, your courage, your honesty. It has reminded me of the strength and connection. That is a gift I will carry, even when we are apart." Elias swallowed hard, realizing that he too had been changed. He was no longer just a traveler or explorer. He was someone who had learned what it meant to see the world, and another being, with eyes wide open. He understood now that courage and admiration were not limited by species, they were universal. The time to leave arrived. Elias stepped onto the landing platform, the ship's engines beginning to hum. He turned to Liara one last time, feeling a mix of sadness and gratitude. "I will return," he promised softly. "Not just to see this world again, but to carry what I've